are only giving access to people who are saying really positive things about their games in order to bait many people into buying it. Really, it's kind of fucked up. I don't know. Look at the average. Look at the average early access guy who got like the special permission from Bethesda. They're whitelisted. What they say about the game. Then look at your average non-early access guy about what they say about the game. Hey, do a comparison. And then it's almost like they have an agenda / incentive to continue saying positive things because of the fact, oh wow, there's Elder Scrolls coming out soon, guys. And it was hugely lucrative to be getting early access to this game. So you don't want to miss out on that. You don't want to miss out on that, do you guys? I don't know. I think this is toxic and prevalent. The same thing happens with Blizzard. And it's this new meta of these large AAA gaming companies whitelisting people who only say positive things to then reinforce this behavior loop where everyone basically, they're just creating a bunch of shills. Because if you say good things, then you get lots of benefits, and then as a result, your career grows. If you say realities, right, and you say, "Yo, this game's bugged," and you ask high questions that they can't answer, like, guess what? You get the cut, and then you don't get the benefits. And if we keep feeding this beast, what are we gonna have, chat? What are we gonna have? We're gonna create a bunch of shell streamers. That's what we're gonna end up with. We're gonna have all these streamers that are cuckolded by AAA games into only saying positive things about their fucking games. Otherwise, they won't get access. And then all these fucking streamers are everyone's gonna be like on their best behavior. It's fundamentally anti-consumer, and it's an ad that isn't marked as an ad. Yep. How do you...
So that's a whole lot of true, okay? That there's one takeaway from the situation with Quinn and the Starfield stuff that I wanted to talk about. It's that he's not wrong fundamentally about this stuff. And while I think it's wrong that he bought and played the game for 24 hours, whatever, streamed it, profited off of it, and then returned it, I think I do think he's got a point with this stuff, and it makes a lot of sense, okay? So he's not entirely wrong. But yeah, the fact that he refunded it, I just think is dirty. If he was just telling people, hey, listen, I bought this game so you don't have to, don't spend your money on this game, it's dog shit, whatever, like, kudos to you, man, by all means, do that, that's fine. But yeah, listen, I didn't play Starfield, and, I'm probably not going to, and I don't necessarily think it's a terrible game. I've seen footage. I've seen the bugs. It's a Bugthesda game. I'm not sure what people expected. I mean, when I heard about this game coming out, it's going to be a typical buggy shit show of a Bugthesda game, and that's it. And there are people that don't mind the bugs. It's got this certain level of jank. Sometimes the bugs are not too game breaking, or if they are, it's like making trash AI that is really easy to fight against, and it's like, well, at least the game is not stressing me out in that way because it's too hard, because the AI is too good. It's more of like, oh, just like a fun casual playthrough doing your stuff. God damn this flashbang. Hold on, let me see if I can get rid of that a little bit. Let's go over here. So that's a little better. But yeah, it's a Bethesda game. What were people expecting? They shouldn't, I mean, I guess you could try to give them the benefit of the doubt to think that they've fixed their ways in the years, but chances are they probably have not. So some things that I noticed that from other people's footage and playing that I do think is actually problematic, and people have very good valid points on. And this is, one, the encumbrance system. And another one, too, is the vendor credit system. Like, come on. This isn't Fallout. why do the vendors have very minimal credits? Why do you have to toy around with like waiting after you sell them stuff and like all these arbitrary mechanics? Like, why? It's supposed to be futuristic. It's supposed to be space. Like, the credit system should be nearly endless in the amount of like credits that vendors have. You should be able to sell all your stuff to them with reckless abandon and it not matter. And the encumbrance system, like, come on, you couldn't have figured out a way to manipulate something. Like, again, you're in space, there's spacesuits, some kind of a rocket pack that gets a backpack with little boosters that reduces the weight or something on it. Like come on, you could have made up some fictitious reason for why you can suddenly carry hundreds of pounds and be unencumbered by it. I think systems like that are really freaking annoying. And I guess like they make sense in some of the older games. Elder Scrolls, you want to play like a more medieval theme and you don't really want to break the immersion. So sure, it makes sense to kind of have vendors that have very minimal credits in that scenario and have the ability to carry less weight. But if that's the case, then like make a way for the loot you find to be more meaningful. There's a bunch of shit you can find everywhere and pick up, and it's like very hard to find and isolate the things that are actually meaningful in the environment, that what you want to pick up. And you create this weird like paradox where it's like, well, I see all this stuff and it has values on it, so I'm just gonna pick up all of the stuff and then I'll figure out what to do with it later. And that's when you first encounter your encumbrance problem, and it's like, oh, well, shit, I can't do this anymore. I can't just pick up everything, but now I need to learn what's important and how to identify it when I'm walking around and looking around. And the older games, it's more difficult, because at least Starfield has like that visor thing where it highlights all the lootable objects, which is helpful, but they could have done way more with it. And I think, honestly, I think that was just really lazy. It was just incredibly lazy design. Like, let's just follow the same model we always have instead of trying to branch out and adapt or change things slightly to make the game more accessible to players that don't want to deal with those shitty mechanics. And if you like playing Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, there's nothing wrong with that. If you like dealing with that stuff, that's great. But you also have to consider that there's a lot of people out there that get really stressed out and lose the fun. Like, the fun is lost on them when they have to start dealing with mechanics like that. And just because you're okay with dealing with it, do you want the game company to suffer because they have less customers? Do you want the game that you love to have less players? And less players that also love and enjoy the game because of these lame mechanics? No, you don't. So, like, Bethesda needs to consider dialing back some of these mechanics or making it so there are intuitive ways that you as a player can loot an entire planet or dungeon or like bunker that you unlock, like maybe not manually, but after you clear it out of all the enemies or something, you talk to your companion and you trigger an event where some of your NPC teammates that don't really exist, they just come in and clear the place after you've gone and left, and then you can see in a menu all the items you got. Like, here's all the items that were found. You can automatically sell all the junk items, and all the important items, lockpicks, whatever weapons are saved, and then you can, examine all the weapons, choose if you want to sell them or not, and then move on. And then I just think that would be way more intuitive, way more fun. That way I can just keep playing the game. I go in, I shoot people, I clear out the space station, whatever, and then my team goes in and collects all the rewards, and then while I'm flying to my next mission or location, I can identify all the stuff, sell it, keep going, keep playing, and yeah, just getting encumbered is obnoxious. Having to look around for all this loot is obnoxious, and these are gameplay mechanics that I expected Starfield to have. So for me, I was like, well, no, I have no desire to try that at all. I'll, ignore the fact that my PC is old. I've been passing on basically every game this year, and I just don't care anymore. So if you still think my opinion is valid or not after that, that's on you. I've been gaming for 39 years. I don't need to play every game to have an opinion on what I see and what I know from experience in all my years being a player, what the types of stuff that turns us off, the types of things that like certain players latch on to that become really niche, that overall are just bad for games. And whether you or I love those mechanics or embracing that jank, that's not for everybody, and we shouldn't condemn our games and our gaming companies to failing and being unsuccessful and eventually closing down or something. Like a lot of studios are it's happening to these days. They make like one game and it's bad, and then that's it. They're gone. And it's a shame. Meanwhile, we have these AAA developers that we're all giving all of our money, and the games are effectively massive piles of shit. We are all the loathsome dung eaters. Time to wake up, gamers. Stop being a loathsome fucking dung eater. Alright? So yeah, that's what I feel about Starfield. And this video in itself was just getting long, so I have other topics to rant about. I will do that in another video. So like and subscribe, and or dislike. I mean, that's fair too. But subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video.